a blood-red sky, a bridge, a figure, frozen in terror, and behind them, two people walking as if nothing has happened. But that's not what's most disturbing, because what you're seeing here is not someone screaming, but the scream itself. Look at the hands, not covering the mouth, covering the ears. So, if this is not someone who is screaming, why is this face filled with such terror? Edvard Munch writes this scene like this. The sky turned blood red, and I felt an infinite scream passing through nature. This is not a painting. This is the moment perception breaks. And perhaps the most disturbing question begins here. Reality. Does it exist only as much as we can endure? On this painting, there is a sentence written, and it has been confirmed to be in Munch's own handwriting, could only have been painted by a madman. Why did Munch write this? Was this truly the product of madness, or a moment between madness and genius that not everyone can see? This is more than a painting, because this image is not a fantasy. It is a record of an experience. In 1892 on Eckeberg Hill, Munch was taking a walk. He wrote in his diary, "My friends kept walking, but I stood there trembling, and I felt as if I were inside an endless void. And in that moment, the sky turned red." Scientists and art historians later tried to explain this in different ways. It is often stated that after the 1883 eruption of Krakatoa, volcanic dust spread into the atmosphere created extraordinary red sunsets across Europe. The nacreous clouds seen during winter in Norway are also mentioned among these explanations. According to art historians, this image expressed the anxiety of the modern age and humanity's loss of place in the world. For Munch, it went beyond all of these. The point was this: the world was the same. But for Munch, it no longer felt the same. It had ceased to be reliable, stable, even safe. It had become something like a threat. And the roots of this feeling reached much further back into his childhood. His mother died. His sister Sophie died. His father fell into depression. His other sister was institutionalized. Edvard Munch once wrote, "From the moment I was born, death was by my side." This is not a biography. This is a foundation, because some minds do not learn reality in a normal way. However, there is one point that is often overlooked. The Scream is not a single painting. Edvard Munch created many versions of this painting between 1893 and 1910, using different materials, oil paint, tempera, pastel, even lithography. The colors change, the intensity changes, and yet the figure remains the same face, the same gesture, the same moment. As if this were not an image he created once, but something he had to return to, again and again. This raises a different question. Was Munch trying to capture this moment or to escape it? And that is exactly why, at one point, Munch says, "I do not paint what I see. I paint what I feel." This is not a style. This is a fracture. The sick child. Not death, but prolonged collapse. Despair. The same world, a different consciousness. Anxiety. The spread of emotion into the crowd. Art historians give this a name, freeze of life. But this is not a series. This is the evolution of a mind. Repression leads to expansion, leads to explosion. And the explosion is the scream. The figure here may not be screaming, because Edvard Munch did not paint a person shouting with an open mouth, but a figure who covers their ears and freezes in fear. So what we are seeing here is not a scream coming from the outside, but the panic growing inside a human being itself. This is not a sound. It is a break in perception. If the sky is red, it is no longer just a sky. Because here, color is not a landscape, it is a warning. A silent but unyielding sign that something is wrong. If the lines are trembling, nature is no longer a background that stands outside. In that moment, the world begins to dissolve before the eye, as if reality can no longer hold its own boundaries. This is an alarm produced by the nervous system. It is not the external world that is breaking down, but how it is being experienced inside. Look at the lines. They don't stay still. They bend, they ripple, they refuse to hold a stable form. Even the bridge, which should be the most solid thing in the scene, feels unstable. The perspective doesn't guide you forward, it pulls you sideways, as if the world itself is no longer structured for you to stand in it. But this is exactly where the painting strikes its real blow, because this fracture is not only in the sky, but also in the rest of the scene. Two people walk in the background, as if nothing has happened. This is the most terrifying detail, because reality does not break for everyone. Some continue to walk. Others cannot leave that moment. Even if they cover their ears, they keep hearing that scream the others cannot hear. Søren Kierkegaard says, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom." But freedom here is not salvation. It is the removal of something, the possibility of everything, and the absence of anything holding you. And in that moment, a person realizes they are not standing at the edge of the abyss, they are above it. Psychology gives this a name: depersonalization, anxiety, panic. But names are only labels, and that label cannot carry the weight of the experience. The real experience is this: the world is stable, but the mind can no longer see it as stable. The anxiety Munch carried is not unfamiliar to us, because modern life often does not collapse onto a person by shouting, but silently. You do not immediately notice that something is wrong. But one day, when you realize how thin the surface of the world you are holding on to actually is, what cracks is not only reality. You are forced to confront your own fragility,